So it's day 2 of Skyline to Sea Trail up near Santa Cruz in California. We're leaving Waterman Gap Trail Camp, and we ended up getting a pretty fantastic site there. It's tucked into to some redwoods and kind of away from everybody, so it was really nice. And there was potable water. I know I kind of left that fact hanging yesterday. We weren't sure if there would be, but there's potable water. So right now what we're doing is we're gonna follow a road that connects Castle Rock State Park with Big Basin State Park. And towards the end of the day, we should drop down into Big Basin State Park, which is where all the old growth redwoods are. So it was kind of fun to be nestled in with some of the smaller ones yesterday, but I'm excited to be impressed. I want to be impressed by the old growth, the really tall, wide coastal redwoods. So that's what's in store today. Beginning shouldn't be too exciting because we're kind of paralleling the road, but I'm looking forward to the afternoon. And this is the Skyline to Sea Trail just past the camp. You can see the sunlight filtering in through these trees, and it's nice and shaded. There's ferns, mosses, and it smells good. Skyline to Sea Trail is spilling out onto the road right now. It's done it a couple times. We're in a little tiny corridor that takes us from park to park. So I'm sure they had a hard time building it. Here comes a car. So we've had to cross this road several times. Very pretty winding road through the redwoods. But we're gonna be on this for at minimum 4 miles, but it's still very pretty. And that's a little redwood right there. And it's nice and shaded, and it is sunny, but there's so much shade it's kind of dark. So kind of cool ambiance. But I think that's our last crossing of the road. We just got a couple miles to Big Basin State Park. Looking back at where we just came from, we're still going along the corridor. You might be able to see the road down there. But we just came across an example of how big these redwoods can get. So this is a former redwood. We're going to kind of go up here a little bit, and that's where it ends. Let me see if I can move around for a different view. See this? All this black stuff, that's still one redwood, former redwood anyway. So they get huge. The sequoias are thicker around the base, but the redwoods, coastal redwoods, are taller. So we're pretty thick with trees right now. Tons of small redwoods, but we're getting closer to Big Basin State Park where the old growth is. We just left the road behind us and entered the top corner of Big Basin State Park, and as you can see, we're getting more into the redwood area. So these are some trees that we're seeing. They're starting to get bigger and taller, and it's just getting thicker as far as redwoods are concerned. There's quite a few redwoods in here, a couple pines too, but much quieter, and the trees are getting pretty awesome. More redwoods and moss-covered rocks on top of toppled redwoods next to all these other redwoods. They are huge. We briefly have come out of the redwoods. It's a little drier here, a little sunnier, but we got some nice mountain views as well. Should be dipping down into the redwoods again pretty soon when we hit the Big Basin headquarters, and there should be some more redwoods there. Back into the shade. Things are getting a little bit more green. Not quite back to the redwoods yet, but it's nice and cool and has a wonderful breeze. Now we drop back down into redwoods. We're losing elevation pretty quickly, but we're getting some of those really tall trees back. And it's getting darker. Trees are starting to get bigger, even at the base. That's a little creek there. That's a big redwood. But just to give an idea of how big some of these bases are, here's some of those redwoods, and then that's a bridge. That's a bridge I just crossed. And then that's the redwood. Big, big tree. Gently flowing pools, ferns, sunlight, and redwoods. This more hiking through the redwoods. We're deep in them now. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous place. Just came across a giant redwood next to a whole bunch of other redwoods. But what's cool about this is it's got this huge fire scar that's hollowed out the majority of the middle of this tree. We're looking straight up into the tree right now. The tree is still alive and still very tall. I've seen a couple of those. That's the only one that looks like a full-on cave so far. But this is a really cool area to hike, like I've been saying. Finally made it to the park headquarters of Big Basin State Park. This is around where we're going to be today. We just need to find the trail camp that's nestled in with all the regular campgrounds. So I'm going to check to see if the snack shop is open, and then go find J Trail Camp. Okay, hitting J Camp underneath some more big redwoods. So we're going to go down and find our spot. We already checked in at headquarters, picked up park map, had some Cheetos and some soda and some beer, and now it's just time to set up camp. So at J Camp, we looked out with tent sites again, because this is our campsite at the primitive campground. It's nice and flat. We also have a critter box, and we're right next to this huge redwood right here. But that's not the only cool part about this, because if you go around to this side, the redwood at our camp spot has one of those fire scars. And you can just walk in and be underneath the tree. It's not big enough for a tent or anything, but pretty darn cool. So that is it for day 2 from inside of a redwood tree. Tomorrow we are leaving the redwoods behind and we are heading towards the beach. So that's the last day of the Skyline to Sea Trail, where we actually hit the Pacific Ocean. That's tomorrow.